What's up, Travel Acre fam? Welcome to another episode of Farming the Land with Brand right here on Travel Acres. So on today's episode, we're doing a full build on a chicken tractor. Yeah, so this is the chicken tractors we've been building. This will be our 5th one that we're building. This will be the full entire build. So if you want to know how to build this, specifically exactly how we build it, you'll want to watch this episode. Let's go.
Here on Travel Acres, here on Travel Acres, here on Travel Acres, here on Travel Acres.
So this is our initial structure for our base layer that we're going to do first. We're just going to lay the boards out in the first square. This is a 10 by 12, so our 12 footers are running this way, our 10 footers are running this way. Your tractor is going to be built as in 12 foot long, 10 foot wide. Your tractor moves in this direction or this direction. So this is your width, this is your length. Okay, so we'll get these all screwed in. We're going to toss 2 screws in each one, and then after we do that, we'll start working on the next step to where we start adding our braces to create our second layer for the tractor. All right, so initial structure screwed in. So the next step is we're going to mark for our 2 foot boards that are going to go along the sides that will raise up for us to create our second level that look exactly like this. So what we'll do is we'll start on the 12 foot side, and we all already know that you're going to make sure you measure right there on the inside of the board, but we're already going to put one board there. Okay guys, so at each corner there'll be a board. On the 12 foot section, because this is a 12 foot board, we're marking our 2 sections for our board at 4 foot, and our second one will be at 8 foot. This will create a 2 foot spacing in between each section of the boards, and then we will move on to the back side or the front side of the tractor. You're going to do this on both, and put your tape measure out, and you're only going to put one mark on the 10 foot section. On the 10 foot section, you will mark it off at 5 foot. You'll repeat this for both sides of the board. So we'll do this 12 foot section first, you do this 12 foot section next, then you do the 10 foot section here with mark it 5th, and then the 10 foot section there, mark it 5th. All right, so once we get the measurements done on those boards, now we have to measure out the 2 foot width for the boards to actually create the raised area to create the next level on top. Our base is made with 2x4s, and the things that we use as for like braces and those kind of things are 2x3s. I can only get them in 2x3x8s. If I could get them just in 2x3s alone for the whole thing, that's what I build it with. So if you have access to just getting 2 foot by 3 inches boards at just any length that you need, I suggest doing that. It's going to make your tractor much lighter. But to kind of counter that, what I've started to do is we use all non-pressure treated wood, and it makes a tractor much lighter and much easier to move. Some people say, well, it's outside, so you're gonna have problems, but replacing the board here and there isn't that big of a deal, and I've never had to replace any boards as of yet, and they've mostly been running for well over a year. So if I get a year out of a couple boards I have to replace every once in a while, then we're doing just fine. So we'll start. We of course have an 8 foot board here, 2 foot 2x3x8s. We're going to mark this 2 foot down. We need a total of 10 of these, so we'll get 4 out of the boards. So we're going to cut these now, and then we'll start mounting them onto the actual first structure, and then put the second structure on top of that. All the 2-foot boards are on. I don't know if I said this right earlier, but you're gonna have 5 foot in between both of these, and then 4, 4, and 4. I think I might have said 2, but I meant 4 foot in between them. So we mount them with 2 screws on this side, 1 on that side for the middle beams. That's all the ones that don't have a corner. And then all the corners we double reinforce. This helps reinforce the corners and make them a lot stronger. So we put 2 screws in this side and 2 screws in this side, so that you now get a much stronger corner all around, and just not screwed into here or just only screwed into this board. Plus you're going to get a stronger corner all the way across. For when we mount the next set of boards, you don't just want to have 2 screws in this side, because your board will be more unstable. And we'll repeat the same exact step of mounting this to these as we add the next strip. We're going to add 2 10-footers, 2 12-footers, put them on the same exact way, and that'll create our second level. Alright guys, so we have the initial structure done. As you can see, this is the base of your tractor. You attach this top frame the same exact way we attach the bottom. We attach 2 screws into this base here, 4 screws into here. That would be 2 going into this board, and then 2 going in here the same exact way as done down there. 2 here on the outside, 1 on the back side to really just sink it in. And when you're attaching these, when you line them up, I always put 1 screw in. Having somebody hold it works the best. You can do it by yourself if you have to, but put 1 screw in here, make sure it's level. Come down here, lift this side up, and make sure it's level 2, then screw it in. If it's a little over or a little behind, just push the board to adjust it, and you'll end up getting, you know, a straight line. So you want to make sure on those boards you don't trim it. If it's over, the length is correct, but sometimes they'll shift a little bit, so you just have to guide the board over to where it needs to meet up perfectly level with it, and that way you get a perfectly square structure. So next after this, what normally happens is if you're working with a second person, I always have that person start wiring around the bottom, and then I start structuring out the actual roof area, the door here, and then the beam that goes across that also holds the door in place. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now, is actually structuring out the door, and then the place that holds, the door here, and the roofing in the back side. And then this is the next part of the structure, and then this will be being wired, usually while I'm doing that. And then after you wire the sides, then you'll begin to wire the top after you wire the whole sides in. Alright guys, so the first thing I do next after this is I actually start measuring out the boards for the roofs. So we get 12-foot metal roofing panels, and we're going to trim those all down to 6 foot. It's the cheapest way to do it. You're going to get 2 panels out of 1. The next size down is 8 foot. Unless you can find 6 foot, then, you know, good for you. All they have is 12 foot or 8 foot at Lowe's. So we go with the 12, and we're going to cut those in half. But so we're pretty much going to make, we're going to put 2 boards across the middle here. We have 2 extra 10-foot boards for this. So we're going to measure from inside to inside. We're going to measure from inside to inside, and that'll be our first board. So you're going to look around, usually about 9 foot 8 inches and a half, maybe something around there. So we're going to do that twice. First one's going to be 6 foot out. That's for a 6 foot roof. So we're going to measure from the back side of this, or I'm sorry, from the inside of this, from the same board here, the 12 footer, because we're going to mount. No, I'm sorry guys, I recant that statement. We're going to measure from the outside of the board. You because we want our roofing panels to slightly hang over the edge so that the water doesn't actually drain into the chicken tractor, but actually off of the actual tractor. So we'll make a mark on both sides of 6 feet, and we know that that's where we need to mount the board. So we'll do that one first, and then our second one, just because it's going to be the same exact measurement, 9 foot 8 inches and a half. It should be right around there if you do it too. The next one is going to go right on the inside of this board on both sides. This gives us about a 4 foot opening for our main door to access the chickens, to feed them, to water them, etc. All right, so on this next part, we're going to measure this out. And we start from the inside for the roofing. You're going to put your tape measure here, and I'll show you kind of how that's going to look. Tape measure there, and then you're going to roll out to 6 foot. Your initial 6 foot board is going to go here. Your initial board that runs across is going to go here to that side. Same on both, 6 foot from the inside of the 12 foot board. And from there, then you'll actually mount your boards on top of it to be 6 foot to that back side, and it'll sit right on the inside of this board back here, so it creates a slope, and I'll show you what that looks like, and that way the water is allowed to drain off this way. And then we will mount the next board right here on the inside of this board. This will give you a 4 foot access to the doorway, and that'll run across to that side. These are two 10 foot boards, both measuring from the insides. So we measure it from the inside, from one inside to the other, and this measurement will be around 9 foot 8 inches and a half. So if we did that same way here, stuck it in the inside, we're measuring this from the inside, remember guys, from the inside to here, you're looking at around 9 foot 8 inches and a half. Okay, so that's how long your board will be on both sides. So we have all our roofing boards cut. I believe it's just going to be 4 of them. They'll be each 2 foot apart all the way down. And then now first we have to mount this board here. So we gotta mount this board on the mark menu. Again, if you have somebody to hold this up for you, that'll help. But if not, you can set it on something to actually help lift it up as well, and that will make it slightly easier. And so you're going to line it up right on the edge of that line, right in the middle of that line. Both sides. All right, so now we're going to take the tape measure again, and we're going to go 2 foot again, but we're going to run from the outside, run 2 foot because our roof panels are 2 foot wide. So we're going to make that every 2 feet, and we'll mark for our board. We'll do this on the front and the back. And now all we have to do is put the boards on. Alright, so try to put this camera so you guys can see it. But what I do is we're going to mount this backside on first because it's already being held up to be framed in there. So we'll set that there. So I put the board right in the middle of the line. That way the roof panel covers both sides and it doesn't get uneven when you start mounting the roof panel. Of course, you put 2 screws in it. Then we'll come over here, and what I do is we'll line this up, take a screw, and we're going to sink it right through the middle. Oh, I actually got to hit it first, guys. So I missed, so I'll come back in again. Adjust. And put the screw in. Okay, so screws now in. We'll do the next one. So we're going to do this all the way across. Remember, our spacing is already 2 foot apart, and you know that. So everything's already measured, so we'll just keep repeating this until we get these on, and then once we get these on, start cutting our roofs. Alright, so next, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to cut our roofing. So you would normally have 2, 4 up top, so each one produces 2 sheets. So I'm actually repurposing some of our sheets off of one of our old chicken coops today, which are already 12 foot. So I'm going to be able to get a total of 6 sheets out of this. Yeah, we have 3 panels, which will create 6 sheets. 4 of the sheets that I'm going to use will go on top of the roofing. Then of course we have I guess you could say the sides that are connected to the roofing. That'll be the other 2 sheets to complete 6. So you'll need a total of 4 panels if you're going to run the whole thing, because on the top of the door we also attach a panel that covers the feet so it doesn't get wet when it rains. So how we're going to do this is we're going to, of course, super easy, we're going to leave all of this stuff stacked together. Okay, this is just much easier to cut it this way, much quicker, instead of cutting each sheet by itself. I just draw a line with my Sharpie at 6 foot, and then once I get down with one side, I just move it to the next bevel in the roofing. You can use different metal roofing if you want. These are some of the more cheaper versions of metal roofing that they offer. That makes them like 20 bucks for a 12 foot. I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks for a foot. I mean a 12 foot sheet, rather than a like paying 40 or more. And plus they work just fine. And I'll kind of show you how we're going to seal them off once we attach them as well. But we're just going to mark it all the way across. It's going to make us be able to get a really good clean line. You could also run something across this to make this a little bit easier, but it only takes a few minutes to do it this way too. So we'll run it out to the edge. Alright, so now we got our line. Make sure they're all connected. And yeah, so line. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Don't know what this tool is called off the top of my head. Hey Zach, what is this called? Angle grinder. Sorry, had to ask somebody. Forgot what it's called. Angle grinder. The blade you usually get for it. It's a little bit thicker, but this one will work today. And this will just cut right through this metal. No matter if you have 4, 5, 6 sheets, it'll cut right through it. So yeah, let's get it cut. So next thing is we're starting on the roofing. We got all the seals up top with the boards that we put in there to seal off those holes. We went ahead and installed the next board, which will wire over the top there, and then we'll put another board there, which will create a section off for our actual door. But first, we're going to go ahead and start tossing on this roofing. The best way to do this is to, of course, line it up, and then we're going to seal down the actual top first, because we're going to lay the panel over the top of it. So what I usually do is I'll just bend it with my hand, like this, and then we'll just screw a screw. Then we'll go ahead and seal off the bottom. As long as it reaches the board is what matters, so the way the metal doesn't drag the ground. I use the hex roofing screws, by the way. The hexagon comes with a rubber on the seal, and this way no water can actually get through when the screw is put in. Make sure drill hole waterproof. Up. Always line it up right with the board. That will create our overhang that we want. And what I usually do after I seal that one in is I'll start pulling these screws back out. Unless you have a lot of these, you can save a screw like this. Seal it back down again. Alright, so we got all the roofing done. So next is starting on our actual, pretty much framing out our door. The initial framing is already here. Since we put this board in, we just got to mount one more board before we actually start doing the framework. Or actually putting the door in, I guess you could say. So we'll measure to the inside of this board that we put up, and then also to the inside of the other board across. We get our measurement there, mount a board here, and then start building our door on top of it. Alright, so now we're framing out the door here. We're using these, I think they are, oh, I actually have to read the board. They are they're a 1 inch by 3 inch by 8, I believe is what these are. Yeah, 1 by 3 by 8s. They're super light, super thin, but they makes the door super light, which makes it so easy to be able to access the door, if that makes sense at all. It makes it super easy to, unless the door slide, if it fell on top of you, it wouldn't hurt, or if it fell in general, it wouldn't hurt. So we just cut these at 48 inches here, long-wise. And then 56 inches wide, I believe, is what it ended up being after we took this board here and mounted it. And so you'll just do that, box it out, and then you're going to attach it with screws no longer than 1 1/4 inch long, because you're only gaining about 2 inches of width here. So you could do maybe 1.5 inches, but 1 1/4 inch usually works pretty good for me. So we'll put these on first, and you'll see it in the time lapse. We'll screw these in, and then we'll run the 2 cross beams. They're just extra wood from cutting these, so we use the wood. Just a cross beam this way and a cross beam this way gives the roof a stronger structure, makes it a little more sturdy. So next we're going to go ahead and attach the wheels, and I'll kind of show you how we do that here. We're going to just only leave this board out. What I found is the closer you are to the tractor, the less of course you have to lift it in the air, and the better it rolls naturally. So we only run 18 inches off of the actual tractor. We're going to mount the wheel on here, and we'll slide the bolt through, attach it to this, put screws through here, attaches to the main frame of the tractor, and that'll be it. We'll repeat on both sides. Let me show you guys real quick. So we are using a 2.50 -4 or -4. I don't know how to speak tire term. These are air up tires, so you can actually toss air in them. That's what we normally do. So you can kind of see in reference to a 2x4 what that's going to look like as it's on there, what your clearance is going to be. And then for the bolts that we run, I think this is a 5/8 bolt. Pretty sure it's going to be decently long because this has big old things that come out of the side of it and make it more durable. So this bolt is I want to say 6 inches. I think this is a 6 to 8 inch bolt. I can't remember which, but you would just match it up to where the threading comes out of the tire. So if I take this bolt off real fast so you guys can kind of see. Shove it through the other side. See how our threading pretty much is almost running up to the tire, so that the tire can't slide around a whole lot. Depending on the tire size, you can get it like perfect, but this is the best one they have for this. So that's what we'll run for this one. We have those washers on this side so that the tire rolls both. You can put one on each side if you'd like. Helps the tire roll a little better. So in order to put that in, you're going to need a paddle bit. And the paddle bit we'll be using today is a 3/4. So the 3/4 paddle bit. It's hard to kind of tell. I think we're actually gonna use a 5/8, guys. I'm sorry, a 5/8. It's gonna be a little bit skinnier, but we'll hit it in with the hammer because we want that to sit really snug on the inside. So you make sure you want to get a paddle bit to drill this hole. Super easy and be super quick. All right, guys, we got that through. Now we can take this tractor, pick it up. As you can see, once we actually put it through the board, we create that 2-inch gap. Still have enough threading to put our washer on and our nut. So you want to make sure you include that 2-foot clearance. Or 2-inch clearance when you're attaching your tire. That way you don't run into an issue of buying a bolt that only fits with the tire and you don't include the 2 inches that's going to run through on that board. So that one's good to go. All right, so now we're back at the front of the tractor, and what we're going to attach now is these screw eyes, one on each corner at the bottom of the front, to where we attach metal wire, ratchet strap, whatever, and then a PVC pipe to help pull it. The screw eyes I'm using are 0.363 by 3 by 7/8. These ones are called like corrosion, or 15 times corrosion, 8 times abrasion, greater resistance, yada yada yada. They're coated, so they're supposed to last a little longer or whatever. But I got some more heavy duty ones because I had some smaller ones that I ran on the first tractor I ran, and just this morning that one snapped on me. These ones won't break. So you can either drill a pilot hole with a drill bit for this size, which would probably be a 7/8 drill bit here, or you can just drill just a small hole and then screw it in by hand as well with assistance with a tool. So we're going to attach those now. We're working on we got these two eyelets screwed on. I went ahead and just attached this. That gives you an option if you ever want to put a lock, a latch, or you can just turn this thing and lock this gate shut once you put it on. Makes it something if you worry about something getting in or whatever. But we just got to attach the things for the eyelets, and now we just have to mount this last roof on, and then we'll be done. So I take the last panel that we have. This is a total of 7 panels that you're going to need that are 6 foot. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels in total. So in order to get 8 panels total, you need 4 full sheets. cut those in half at 12 foot, and then you get the enough panels. So this is the last part where we put our feeders at night, just in case we have rain that night or whatever. It does help keep some of the feet a little dry, and some of the chickens will lay under sometimes too. But we just attach this at the end of our door and then screw it in. All right guys, so this is the final product of the strap, the pole. Just fed a ratchet strap through it, hooked it on one eyelet, tied it on the other. You want to make sure it's about probably right above your knees, maybe by like 4 inches, whatever makes it easy for you, just be able to do slight pulls with it, or just pull it flat without having to bend real low and lifting the tractor super high off the ground. But other than that, tractor's done, y'all. It's finished. We all did that together in like an hour and a half, so it doesn't take long to build this. Well, actually 2 hours. So it doesn't take too long to build one of these. Definitely can build a couple if you had to in a day, but you know, one in a day works. But turned out really good, guys. This is our 5th one that we've built here on the farm, and I think we're getting pretty good at it. So I hope you guys like this model, or if it works good for you guys. All right, guys, so hope you enjoyed this video today on a full build of our chicken tractors, of what it takes to build one here on the farm. A quick inventory list for you guys. So if you want to build one of these, we'll leave it in the description below, of all the inventory of all the wood and pieces that you'll need, as I kind of list them in the video, as well as we kind of go on. But if you need an inventory list, we'll leave that in the description below as well. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, leave your comments down below, and I hope to see these tractors on your farm here soon. See you guys.
Here on Tribal Acres. Here on Tribal Acres.